Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be looking at the Pretty Perennials stamp set. Now this is a kind of watercolour effect stamp set, so you've got several different sizes of flower. You've got a kind of scribble flower that you can put on top, there's middles, there's leaves, there's all sorts. But I love the sentiments on this one because I think it's so useful. You've got this big happy word which I'm going to use today. Then to go with that you've got mail, so you could have happy mail, happy for you, happy birthday, you make me happy, and sending lots of happy. Now there is a die set that goes with this stamp set, and I am going to be using the dies separately to make another set of cards. So I'm not using the dies today at all, just literally using one flower with the kind of scribble bit that goes with it and the leaves. I'm using the happy, and then on one of the cards I've done sending lots of happy, and on the card that I'm going to make with you today I'm going to do a different colourway and I'm going to do happy mail. These cards are really simple and would be brilliant for a beginner crafter or anybody that maybe just wants to, you know, make some quick cards and put them in the post to people, or put them in a bundle and gift them to people. So the first card and colourway I made was Melon, Mambo and basic white and black. So I've stamped sending lots of happy in our black tuxedo memento. These are Melon Mambo flowers. They're done in like 1 generation and 2nd generation stamping, and the leaves are done in pear pizzazz. And then I've just cut my layer and stuck it onto a piece of Melon Mambo card, which was A4 card, cut straight down the middle on the short side and folded. So these are going to be a set of 4. So the next colourway that I'm going to use is Calypso Coral. So I've got my card base, which I've done exactly the same with, and I've got my piece of basic white. So this piece of basic white measures 3 5/8 by 5 3/8, and I'm going to put it in the landscape orientation. I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat with some, you know, old copy paper just stuck onto it. I just literally wrap it round and stick it on the back. And this is what I use for photopolymer stamps. It just gives a bit of cushioning because there's no cushioning in photopolymer. So I'm going to bring in, I've got my stamps loaded up onto my blocks. I'm just going to ink up my happy in my memento tuxedo black. This doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be, you know, in the middle of the paper. Just ink it up and stamp it down. I'm going to bring in my word mail, and I'm going to put happy mail, and I'm going to stamp that just down here. So that's the black done with for now. So now I've got my 2 layers of flower, and I've got my 2 layers of leaves just loaded up onto a block. So I'm going to take the solid shape first. I'm just going to ink this up in my Calypso Coral. I've got a piece of scrap paper just on the side. I'm just going to stamp off and then stamp down so I get a lighter effect. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to do that 3 times. So inking the stamp up, stamping off onto some scrap, and then stamping down, and that just gives a lighter effect. And as I say, these are meant to be watercolour effects, so they're not going to give you a perfect all over stamp. Now I'm going to bring in the other half of this flower, ink it up in the Calypso Coral, and then this time I'm going to stamp it straight down over the top. And again, these don't have to line up. You know, this is kind of like a scribble type effect flower. So this is why I think this would be good for a beginner, because you just don't have to even think about it. Then I've got the leaves. So I've got the solid leaf and the detailed section. So I'm going to ink up the solid in the pear pizzazz. I'm going to do exactly the same got a piece of scrap paper. I'm just going to stamp it off once and then stamp it onto the card, and do that for each of the flowers. Put the leaves wherever you want, doesn't really matter, it's entirely up to you. This block's a little bit big for what I'm using, but it's fine. Then I'm going to turn my stamp over to get to my other stamp, ink that up in the Pear Pizzazz, and then just go over the lighter green that I've just stamped. And these are quick and simple but effective looking cards. So that's how it's looking now. Then within the stamp set, there's also this little bit here, which is like the middle of a flower. I'm just going to use my Tuxedo Memento Black. You could use, you know, one of the colours you've already used. I've got black within my greeting. I'm just going to use the black and just pop the dots in the middle of each of the flowers. So I'm just going to move everything out of the way now so I just don't stick my fingers in all the ink. And that's how it's looking. So now I'm just going to bring in my card front, put some adhesive on the back of here, and that's my card. So I've got 2 cards in Calypso Coral that say Happy Mail, and 2 cards in Melon Mambo that say Sending Lots of Happy. You could decorate the envelopes to match, package them up and gift them, or just keep them and send them for when you need a quick card. If you want to put a piece of white card inside to write on, just cut another piece of card the same size as this white matting layer, or just, you know, write with a black pen and it would show up. So that's today's quick project, made using nothing but a few stamps from Pretty Perennials. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I am going to be making some cards using the dies, and that way you'll not miss out when I post that next video. Thank you.